Hello everyone, me Kevin here. It is no surprise at all, and this is why we sign up for life insurance in as little as 5 minutes by going to metkevin.com/life. Nancy Pelosi said that the $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure package, or the BIF, was going to get passed on Monday, the 27th. Then Monday rolled around, and Nancy Pelosi said, you know what? Let's just start debate today. Instead, we'll vote on this on Thursday. Well, then Thursday rolled around, and Friday rolled around, and no vote. Why no vote? Because Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer have thus far failed to unite the Democratic Party. Nancy Pelosi blames Senate centrists, like essentially, without mentioning them, Joe Manchin and Sinema, for stonewalling the deal and changing timetables. So she's pointing the finger, but we all know if you point a finger, 3 point back at yourself. And so Bernie Sanders has also come out with similar criticism as Nancy Pelosi. We could say the same thing here as well. Bernie Sanders, on this was a trending tweet, by the way, on Twitter, suggests why is it that 2 senators can hold up the action of 48 senators in the Senate? And as usual, when Bernie Sanders says something in a very progressive and popular way for people to cheer and get behind, we see the same thing with AOC or Elizabeth Warren or similar things with these. We fail to realize that Bernie Sanders just set up a false dichotomy. This is not a matter of 2 senators versus 48. It is a matter of 48 senators versus 52. That's the way our government was designed. Now, our government was actually purposefully designed for the potential for this kind of gridlock to happen, which is kind of crazy. If we didn't want as much gridlock as we have, we would have a pluralistic Congress where we actually had multi-parties with power. But we don't. So this is the cake we made. We made this, we baked this cake, and now we get to eat it. We get stuck with this kind of drama. But that's why we provide insights on what the heck is going on. So where do we go from here now that we've got these sorts of holdups? Well, President Biden called on House Democrats, specifically the Progressives Caucus, which the Progressive Caucus is a group of representatives in the House that are saying, look, we're not going to vote for the $1 trillion infrastructure package until the $3.5 trillion package is passed and we're satisfied. Problem is, Biden and Senate Democrats are trying to negotiate with Sinema and Joe Manchin on the $3.5 trillion package to give that to progressives, but these two are pretty reluctant to get into serious conversations until the $1 trillion package is passed. So again, you've got this going on. Joe Biden actually canceled his travel on Wednesday because of this crisis, and now he's asking Democrats, what are your must-haves? So the question now is, what goes away in the $3.5 trillion package? Does the $250 per month for children under 18 and $300 for children under 6 go away? Does paid leave go away? Does paid for preschool for everyone go away? Or are there going to be some caps or limitations set on these things? Are we going to see limits on certain tax increases or potentially have tax increases without as much spending in other places to lower the cost of the overall bill? Who knows? But at this point, we are stuck between a rock and a hard place. That's because of what's next, and that's the debt limit. We have until October 18th to get the debt ceiling handled. That is, pass some sort of extension to the debt ceiling. We know that at this point, this debt ceiling is almost certainly going to be attached to the infrastructure bill. And if they miss October 18th, they might have a few days of buffer. Janet Yellen kind of implied that they might have like 1 or 2 days of a buffer in that October 18th date. I personally think they might have until November 1st. I think Janet Yellen is kind of fudging a little bit, but I don't know that she's fudging, but she's kind of like, she's trying to make Congress work before it literally gets to crisis mode, right? So I think we'll probably have a few days past October 18th, potentially out to November 1st, but basically, this is trying to light a fire under Congress to get an infrastructure package of some sort. Because ultimately what this is going to come down to is something is better than nothing, my guess. So this is where legislatures will likely say to each other, look, are we okay with a $2 trillion infrastructure package? We can actually get this $2 trillion infrastructure passed. And if we get this $2 trillion infrastructure bill passed, that's better than if we didn't get the debt limit passed or infrastructure passed, because then we would have nothing, right? And I want to circle back to the argument about Bernie Sanders talking about it. This is the 2 against the 48, when in reality it's not 2 against 48. It's 2 against, it's 48 versus 52. This is what Americans voted for, right? Americans voted for a Congress that is really close in power. It did not give universal power to one side. That is what Americans voted for. So even though if we're on the left, we might not like that. If we're on the right, we might love it. Who knows where we sit? I think most of us sit generally, like 80% of us sit within the middle ranges. And we're kind of just wondering what's going to come out of it. I think ultimately this is what America has come to, a country that is divided, but through division, we can actually probably get bipartisan moderate solutions. And that's really why you see this symptom of a couple senators wielding their power and saying, I don't know, 3.5, we might be going a little too far. Let's bring it back to the middle. Now, sure, is it their responsibility to that? Hey, well, it's debated. But that is the situation that we're in. That is the way our Congress works. Somebody's always going to be, in a close call, that vote, that swing vote in the middle. It's the same thing as like on the Supreme Court, right? Somebody's always going to have that last say decision. That's just the way our society works, but frustrating nonetheless to sit around uncertain watching Congress sling, bullcrap at each other on Twitter. But that's just what they do. Anyway, keep this in mind. House Democrats do not want to try to pass a clean debt limit bill. A clean bill would basically be, let's just raise the debt limit and let's deal with the infrastructure package separately. This is probably also unlikely to happen because it would require the support of Republicans, especially if Democrats don't use reconciliation. And McConnell and Republicans are purposefully refusing this because they want Democrats to lose their next reconciliation option because it forces them to use it and speed up their negotiations on this $3.5 trillion plan, which in all likelihood makes it smaller. So that's kind of where we stand right now. It's going to be an interesting weekend to see if we get any kind of updates. Really, what I'm looking for at this point, and we should all be looking for, are going to be counteroffers. What kind of counteroffers and actual plans can we get from the Progressives group? What can we get from Manchin and Sinema? And where can we meet that find that middle ground? Is it 2.9? Is it 2.5? Is it 1.9? Is it 1.5? I'm curious. I personally lean around that 2.7 to 2.9 range, but we'll see. Folks, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you appreciated the update that Joe Biden is now calling everything off until we have a more clear framework on what the heck is going on. And folks, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.